And welcome back to Culture Crossroads. Joining me this segment from the Native American Guardian Association, we have the Vice President of the association, Frank Blackcloud. He's also a board member, as well as Tony Andrews, the association social media coordinator and community outreach coordinator. We welcome both of you to the program. And I invited you on because as I was cruising around Facebook one day, I came upon the organization's Facebook page. And there was a little report, a blurb about a petition that has been started to rename the Washington Commanders the Washington Redskins. And now, you know, a couple of the questions that we'll get into, but of course, when I saw this, it piqued my interest because I thought even when they changed the name, you know, what's the problem other than political correctness and all that kind of stuff? And you know, what's happening? Well, from the American Tribune, let me just set up this story real quick. Was an article about this. The title, Native Americans Guardian Association pushes petition to change Commander's name back to Redskins, garners nearly 150,000 signatures. You have Senator Steve Daines from Montana who brought this up as well. In a quote, the linked petition, which has garnered well over 147,000 signatures, begins by saying, "We are passionate supporters of the Washington Redskins and its rich history. We write to you today as a collective voice, urging you to reconsider the recent name change from Redskins to the Commanders. We believe that restoring the original name, the Redskins, is the right decision for the team, its loyal fan base, and the legacy it represents." Tony, I'd like to start with you since you are a social media coordinator, and I know that you are you have a major part to play with this petition and so on. First of all, what inspired this petition? Why is it important to bring back the name? I thought we were all told in the news that this was another example of America's enduring racism and we need to do away with it altogether. I'm assuming then that's not correct. What's the real story? Why should we change the name back?
Well, number one, 90% of Native Americans repeatedly have told us that they are supportive of the Redskins name. So this petition was actually started by a fan, a gentleman named Daniel Fazzolari. And Daniel went ahead and started the petition, and we jumped on very early. I think I was number 15 or something to sign it myself. And we started, gaining traction with the new owners coming in. There was a lot of push to say, well, why not the Washington Redskins? What was this all about? And with 90% of Native Americans feeling that way, and even a larger percentage of the fan base, that was really a fan base started petition that grew from 0 to 1,000 to 10,000. By the time the season started last year, is about 50,000, and now it's like you said, it's approaching 150,000. I think we're right at 148 and change right now, 148,800. So that's the origin of the petition. It's a fan-based petition that we have been circulating through our social media, as you've seen it all around, and it continues to gain steam.
I want to show you a picture here. I want to bring this up on the screen. You'll see here it says, "Respect, honor, tradition, Redskins. It's not a mascot, it's a family crest." And you have John Two Guns Whitecalf of the Blackfeet Nation. Can you talk a little bit about the history of the logo and Two Guns Whitecalf and what that means and represents?
So first, there's a push now for the Redskins, and then there's a push for just the logo.
Okay.
And we look at them as interchangeable. The logo and the Redskins mean the same thing in everybody's mind. John Two Guns Whitecalf was the Blackfeet Nation chief that symbolized this emblem that was created by Blackie Wetzel. So the actual family of Blackie Wetzel and the actual family of Chief Two Guns Whitecalf, the Whitecalf family, still exist, and both are Blackfeet Nation tribal members. And they are pushing, along with the Blackfeet Business Council, which is their tribal leadership, to bring back the logo. We believe it all should be brought back, but we're willing to sit down and talk and have a seat at the table and discuss the many different opportunities to honor Native American names and imagery. And whether it be the Redskins or whatever, well, that's our position, is we would love to see the Redskins back. But John Two Guns Whitecap was the most admired picture that they brought to the Redskins back in 1971. So over 50 years, this has been the face of the Washington Redskins.
And so John Two Guns Whitecap with this logo, this is not just an artist rendering stereotype. This is a real person with a real history that connected with, much of the fan base, particularly of the Redskins football team, but also of the Blackfeet Indians. I want to ask you a kind of a social, not to get too much into politics question, but that the narrative behind this was this is horribly racist, and every Native American is offended by the Redskins, by the name and by the logo. Tell me why that's not true.
Number one, Redskins has a dual meaning. One, it was a self-identifier by natives as the Red Nation, and distinguishing themselves from the white man and the black man. It was first used back in the early 1800s in English by natives speaking to people as like the president. And those are recorded history pieces. Then there's another version of where this came from. Being from the Northeast and the Boston area, this was the painted warrior. The Native American used to paint their skin red as a form of going to battle. It was basically a war preparation. So the warrior was a redskin warrior. It's actually an adjective to explain who those people were and what kind of status they had as a warrior people.
This also extends, and we'll get to this a little bit with Frank in terms of some of the major initiatives of the association, what the association's purpose is. Native Americans Guardian Association coming up in the next segment, but this also extends to the Cleveland Indians, their name was changed to the Cleveland Guardians, and part of I'll bring it up here and I'll bring it up again in the next segment, but we'll go ahead and bring this up here on last Giving Tuesday, reasons to donate. The number 1 and 2, fighting to bring back the Redskins name and logo, and fighting to bring back Cleveland Indians name and logo. Now here again, kind of along the same lines of, what is okay and what's not. And I think culturally, that's one thing that people who are not Native American, who are, we're seeing this, we don't really see anything wrong with it, but we don't know because we don't share all the same history. We don't know as much. They tell us, well, the name Indians is offensive. Help me understand. Is it offensive? Is it not offensive? Is it offensive in certain contexts? And what about the Cleveland Indians and Chief Wahoo should be remembered and celebrated as opposed to erased?
So I'll bring it back to the surveys, and these are conducted and only asked to self-identified Native Americans as their primary race. Mm-hmm. And in 2002, the Harris Research Group found that 83% of Native Americans said sports teams should not stop using Indian references. In 2004, 90% by the Annenberg Public Policy Center surveyed American Indians, and they said that the Redskins name was not offensive. In 2013, the Associated Press, 79% of Native Americans surveyed opposed the Washington Redskins from changing their name. So this goes on and on, where natives appreciate all their names, all their imagery, and they like seeing it in public as a way of remaining relevant. But to speak more to Native opinion, I'd like to turn it over to Frank and get his opinion as a full-blooded Sioux.
Yeah, let's bring Frank in here, and that's good. You've been so patient, Frank. I really appreciate it as we talk here. But yeah, as we get here, what is your opinion as a Native Sioux? Because I think that's one of the things. I think a lot of people would like to sign on to that petition, but I think many people are afraid because the worst thing we can be is offensive to somebody, and And people get called all kinds of names that don't even matter. And so they're afraid to, because they're not really sure. Everybody's confused. There's a fog. Maybe you can clear some of that up from your perspective.
Well, sure. I'll give my best shot here. I've grown up in San Diego, so for me, I stuck out like a sore thumb there as being one of the only American Indians. And that's what I call myself, an American Indian. I'm a Dakota Sioux. I belong to the Minnewacan Oyate, which means people of the spirit water, here in North Dakota. So we are a Dakota Sioux tribe. We are a warrior society. So a lot of the people on the left seem to want to force their opinion upon us that we need to be ashamed of being warriors, that we're a defeated people. The way I see it is they're out to abolish us completely, because we lost, in their opinion, the war for America. And so we should be just go hide underneath the rocks. You're a nation of people that should not be here because you're defeated. Well, we are not defeated. We stand proud for who we are after everything that we've been through. And when a sports team, whether it be elementary school, high school, college, professional teams, when they take up our names and our logos, there is something inside of us that it just lights a fire in us. And it makes us feel good because they want to emulate us as a warrior people, a warrior tribe, and they want to be us. So how can you be ashamed of something like that when somebody upholds you and tries to make themselves better and to be more like you? That's nothing to be ashamed of. That's something that we need to put to the forefront. And I'd say 90% of American Indians feel that way. And when you have these leftist groups trying to eradicate us and make us go away, and they want us to be silent, and we're not going to be silent anymore. So we're standing up now and saying, no, we've had enough of this. It's time you listen to us and don't be telling us how we should feel, what we should think, or how we should do things about life. We want you to hear our point of view, stand with us, and help us to support these names and images, because they are something to be proud of.
That is a great place to put a pause in this conversation. We're going to come right back and talk with...
all I can say about that. as Forrest Gump would say.
Yeah, we are going to take a quick break right here. We're going to come back with Frank and Tony. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Native American Guardian Association, what they do, and is there a push to, for lack of a better word, to wash or erase Native American history and Indian history from America? And if so, why? Is that part of the reason why we need to keep these likenesses going? We're going to answer that question and much more when we come back on Culture Crossroads. Don't go anywhere.